Good morning. I know that quite often it's very challenging to be and remain positive, but you don't really have a choice. You gotta remain positive, because the minute you stop being positive, things change. And you don't want that. Yet again, anything and everything that you may be doing in life is always gonna be a challenge, because nothing good is just gonna come as easy. I mean, you may attract it, yada yada, I know. But there's always a price to pay. There's always something that you must do. Even when you attract something, you didn't just wake up and attract it. You had to change your state of mind. You had to change who you were. You had to change your environment. You had to change something in order for you to get what you wanted. So the bottom line is, being or staying positive might not be easy, but it is easier to be, instead of being miserable, angry, and all of these other negative sentiments that you don't want to be stuck in. You don't want to be miserable. Who wants to be miserable? No one wants to be miserable. People find themselves in these situations. People end up being miserable because they didn't hear a voice. They didn't have that opportunity to hear someone talk about, don't be miserable. Don't be so angry. Don't be so, they didn't have that access. Or sometimes they just don't make themselves accessible enough to allow that kind of message to come in. And you who's listening today, that's mean you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to change. You have an opportunity because you have access to a different message than the people that are miserable didn't have. And I'm not saying that unless you receive this message, you're going to end up being miserable. That's not what I'm saying. Because it is also a choice. Regardless what your environment was, it is a choice. You can decide not to be miserable. You can decide not to be like that. Not to be so basic, so typical. You can decide that I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to have a constructive set of mind. I'm going to be just a little bit different than the norm, than the mass, than certain people you meet. It's a decision. You can decide. You can decide that enough is enough. Because what you have to think about is that, all right, when you're not happy, right? You're not happy and you're angry or something. What do you get out of it? Think about it. When you're miserable, what kind of happiness is that? It is none. It is no happiness at all. You may try to convince yourself. It's just like sometimes when someone is being vindictive, they do something silly and then they come back behaving as if, they did the best thing that they could. They didn't. They're miserable. They're sad. But instead, they choose to show you as if, oh yeah, I scratched their car, ha 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 ha. No. If you were happy, you wouldn't have to bother to waste your energy on scratching somebody's car. If you were happy, you'd be sitting at the beach, you'd be traveling, you'd be spending time with people you love, you'd be doing something, I don't know, completely different than doing things that are attracting negative energy. So now after you scratch this person's car and next thing you know, some tractor trailer just run over yours. And then to find out you were guilty, you parked at the wrong spot, so there's nothing you can do. a lot of times people forget that life is funny. Things just come back to you. Don't think that the things that you do are not going to come back. They're going to come back to you. So that's why it's good to be happy. It's good to be happy. It's good to remain happy. Just like the gospel says, nobody told you the road would be easy. The Mary, Mary song. But even if things are not promised to be perfect all the time, the best thing that we can have is the hope that it's going to be better, and the actions taken by you to make them better. Eventually you will reach that goal, that purpose that you have. So I hope you learned something. I hope you can remind yourself when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, you can say to yourself, I can do this. I can be happy. I can be positive. At the end of the day, they always say birds of a feather flock together. So if you're hanging with somebody who's always miserable, and then you hang with another who's always angry, and then you hang with another who's always so vindictive, these are all the qualities that you're collecting in your life, because that's what you see. That's who you hang with. You ever see a nice person and then you see their friends and you're like, these are your friends? That's who you hang out with? Like every week? Gosh. So attract what you want. Just as it is. As simple as that. Attract what you want. Attract what you see. Or attract even better than what you see. It's always a bit confusing sometimes, when you probably see someone that you thought was so smart, and then you see the people they hang with and you're just like, are you okay? But keep attracting what you want, need, and attract better than yourself. If you're a B student, try to hang out with an A student. I don't think you would be hanging out with the C student. I know sometimes people do it because of ego. They would hang out with people that are less than them, or that appears less than them, because that feeds into their ego. Because then if everybody's failing for math, they're having F, and the closest is a D, and the best ones are C, and then you have a B. It's like, oh wow, you're the king or the queen of that castle. But if you had to hang out with the A's and the A+, you would feel a little bit intimidated. Maybe sometimes that's a spot we got to put ourselves in. Put yourself higher, and then you're going to push yourself to do even more. You won't need someone all the time telling you to do more. You'll be able to be your own self-motivator. That's how you get it done. Sometimes you see someone who has no motivation. They don't know. That's how you get it done. Hang out with the best of the best. And don't exclude yourself out of the best. You're the best too, because you know to seek out better. So try not to limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. Do what you need to do. Handle it. You can do it. It is challenging when all you can hear in your mind is, it could be a friend, parents, or the family members telling you negative things that, please, you can't do this. Please, you can't do that. Who are you to be thinking this way, to be, thinking you can make it to the top? No, you are who you are. Yes, you can. Don't believe them. Don't allow them to take over. Don't allow them to say these things, and this is not what you're looking for. You know who you are. You're the best one who know who you are. Sometimes people may have an idea of who you are, but they don't know who you are. Deep inside, everyone could be, oh my God, he's so clean, she's so clean, they're always up to par, and deep inside you probably don't even want to do it. You only do it because everybody think you are. You know, you ever find yourself in a situation where you're not really certain way, but because people always think this is who you are? And sometimes these are the things that mess people up. And sometimes when you see kids that are like into gangs and stuff, they're not mean kids. It's just they ended up being initiated in that stuff, and then other people around them always, oh, he's bad or she's bad. And then they go and they do something stupid. They go and walk down the street and punch somebody because they're so bad. No, they're not bad. They're being encouraged that way. They're being, someone is inciting that in them. So don't let no one do the job that you can do, because you just never know their intentions. You have only control over yourself. Therefore, incite the things that inspire, incite the things that you want, incite the things that you need, the things that you always wanted to do to serve the community, to serve the universe. Do it. Incite yourself. When you look in the mirror, incite yourself to the things that you need to be incited. With 4, 2, I don't know. You can motivate yourself. When you look in the mirror, say, wow, good morning, and let's do it. Is that so hard? Let's do it together. Hey, good morning, let's do it. You can do it. You have all this greatness inside of you, and you don't want to go without sharing it with somebody. You never know who's going to hear your message, who you're going to change. So be willing to be authentic. Be willing to share your message. Be willing to do something constructive. Be a social agent. Be whatever positive, constructive agent that you can be, because it's worth it. It is worth it. Be the best that you can be. Why being the worst? What do you get out of it? You'll get that very superfluous feeling, that's not real. It's just like taking drugs. People take drugs and they get high and, but the feelings come back, right? That's what they usually say. The feelings come back. Therefore, then they need more drugs. They need stronger drugs. Because the feelings keep coming back. The feelings of rape, the feelings of abuse, all of that, the sickness, whatever it is, it keeps coming back, and they don't want to be reminded of that. The trauma just keeps coming back. It just keeps resurfacing because you did not heal yourself. You just covered up. Imagine if you had a cut. Imagine you had a cut right now, and instead of taking alcohol and all type of things to clean it up, you go and you play sports, right? You get in contact with other people with their sweats, and then when you come back, you put a Band-Aid over it. You didn't clean it, you didn't wash it with water, you didn't do anything. Just imagine you just come from playing sports and you come home, you just wrap that arm or you just wrap that leg, that injury, that open wound. Imagine you just wrap it up without cleaning it. Imagine tomorrow you go out and you play again. You take off the bandage, okay? And you play and you play and you play and you get in contact with people. Their sweats get in it, other thing, dust, dirt, whatever else that's floating in the air, just keep getting in it. And then you come home, you wrap it up without cleaning it. So this is what you do with your life when you don't go for healing and you're trying to take other things. There's nothing that's going to happen. It only gets worse. That wound would only get worse. It would become infected and eventually you would lose that leg or that arm because it would be infected. And it would probably most likely smell. Everywhere you go, people will smell it. It's like, ugh, what is that? So it's just like a bad attitude, You ever see someone who's so negative, who's so somewhat nasty in the ways that they deal with people, and everywhere they go, they just leave that trail? What kind of trail do you want to leave behind? What kind of trail you want to leave behind? One that is positive and people be like, wow, oh my God, he's here, she's here, oh my God, I need a hug. Or one that's like, oh gosh, why is she here? I remember I used to work in retail, and there would be those managers when they come and visit your stores and people are like, oh, not this person again. What did they want? And then there'd be another and they're like, oh, that's cool. Where is this manager? Oh, I want to go say hi. That's because of the energy that they bring around. So it matters how you behave, how you act. It matters. It matters what you internalize, because that's what's going to become your reality. You have to find a way to change your state of mind. You have to, I don't know, first you got to do with yourself. You got to do what works, and that it may be listening to music, go sit by the water. I don't know. First you got to figure out what's going to work, and then you can start looking for other things. Because what it is that when you run, I believe when you run and you just grab something to just handle, like, I don't know, let's say you have a headache or you don't feel good and you're just like, oh my God, let me just run into this meditation. And if it's not something that you're used to, if it's not something that you have an idea or you're motivated enough to do, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So you got to be patient with yourself. When you want to grow, when you want to get to the state of mind of being at peace, of being happy, there's some work to do. Motivate yourself enough to get it done, because you're worth it. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be at peace. Just remind yourself that you deserve it when you wake up in the morning. You don't have to have like an hour conversation now, but just be ready for the day. Don't wake up so sad or trying to abide by the way that people say you are. When you wake up, you just mad. No. Be different. Be a rebel. Wake up in the morning and be happy. Even if people are saying that they're not happy, they don't like morning, they're not morning. There's no such thing as morning and night people. The only thing that there is, you might be able to stay up late, but you're not able to wake up too early or whatever. But when people say that, it's like they tend to stick with attitude. It's like, oh, I'm very bad. If I don't have my coffee, I can't talk. Really? They condition themselves to negative things, but they refuse to condition themselves to the positive things. Why don't you say, oh my God, I have to smile, I have to laugh when I wake up, because if I don't, I'm not gonna have a good day. No, people don't say that. People say, if I don't have my coffee, if I don't have my tea, if I don't have my breakfast, I'm not in the mood. In the meantime, do you ever say, oh, when I have my breakfast, I'm so happy? Even if I don't have my breakfast, I'm still happy, because that's who I want to be in the morning. I just want to be happy. You want to be happy in the morning, and I always encourage people to be happy in the morning, because that determines the rest of your day. That's the beginning of your day, the morning. Why not be happy? Why not? Why would you want to get on the road angry, upset? Why? Listen to me. When you wake up in the morning, make a commitment with yourself, because you deserve to be happy. You deserve happiness. Just do it. Wake up. Smile. Or even laugh. Pray. Start your day peaceful with smiles and positive thoughts. And I'm sure somehow it'll sink in with the rest of your day. You've been listening to Reverend Dr. Marie Brevil. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. Until next time, stay positive.